really great today to hear such a diverse set of stakeholders who are coming together around this single notion that the U.S. really should be a nation that grows its economy by investing in the skills of its people. So Andy, I'd like to turn back to you for a moment. Skills2Compete is offering us a unifying message that a variety of constituencies can get behind. Obviously, we see that today. And given the number of endorsers, it clearly has broad support. But talk to us about what's next for the campaign and what will be involved in moving the Skills2Compete vision forward.
Sure. Thanks, Rachel. Well, so at its essence, Skills2Compete is really a communications effort to try to change the larger mainstream political conversation about these issues, these workers and these jobs, and this level of investment and training that is really not part of the regular conversation, certainly not here in Washington, and I think it's also the case in some other states as well. So we want to be working to reach out over the next several months. The endorsers to the campaign as of today were really organizations that we had some relationship with, but we are now reaching out very broadly to bring a whole range of stakeholders from business and labor and community colleges and other institutions of higher education, community-based organizations, the public workforce system, to show policymakers that this is a set of issues that we are incredibly interested in, and to show that it's a broad-based interest, and to raise that message within an echo chamber that they're going to find, whether they're here in Washington or out on the presidential campaign trail or in state houses throughout the country, or reading the state or local press that is covering some of these issues. Now, one of the things that we're going to do to make it easier for folks to do that is through the tools that we made available on our skills2compete.org website. And I encourage everybody to go ahead and take a look at the website after the webinar today, but we're going to give you a few previews of some of the things that you're going to find there. So the website's going to have a number of continually updated communications, research, and policy resources to help all of us bring the Skills2Compete message and the policy thinking behind it to public officials, to potential allies, and to the press. So for instance, on the homepage, you'll see links to some of the new media we've developed. These are podcasts, YouTube movies, those kinds of things that kind of help promote the campaign's messages in new and different ways. And we welcome everyone's ideas about how we can get these issues out to new audiences as well. Also, you'll find in the resources section the toolkit of more traditional communications vehicles that you can adapt for your own purposes: speeches, talking points, PowerPoints, and op-eds that all of you can borrow from to embed within your own work. There's also going to be a section on publications, so it includes Harry and Bob's report, and there will be other research that the campaign is commissioning over time, as well as some fact sheets that will help you make the policy case for new skills guarantees discussions in which you're involved. But Skills2Compete isn't just a website or even just a cool pin. And I've got to say, though, that 2-pin is pretty snazzy. And, of course, all endorsers get a chance to get a pin, and you certainly can order more of them through the Do Something for Two action part of the Skills2Compete website. So wear it proudly. But this is really at its also an organizing campaign about ours working to directly bring endorsers into dialogue with policymakers. So, for example, here in Washington, we'll be bringing this Skills2Compete message to Capitol Hill to try to move Congress beyond some of the narrow focus and meager investment that we've seen from them to date on some of these issues. For instance, my own organization, the Workforce Alliance, will be bringing over 100 folks here into Washington in February at the start of the next congressional session, and we'll be using Skills2Compete messages as part of our conversations up on the Hill. The campaign is also going to make it easier for everybody out there in the rest of the country to have direct contact with their members of Congress about bringing attention to these issues. More generally at the national level, and Tom Buffenbarger mentioned some of the work the IAM is already doing in this area, is we want to kind of challenge all of the presidential candidates, both Democrat and Republican, to address where middle-skill jobs and broad-based investments of people figure into their education and economic platforms. We've already been in contact with all the major candidates to review these issues with them and to assess their positions. And early next month in December, in the election section of the website, we'll release a nonpartisan analysis of all the candidates' positions on these issues, and then we will continue to update that content periodically over the year as the race narrows. And we'll also make it possible for folks coming to our website to actually contact the campaigns directly, again, to make them know that these are issues that we all hold in importance. One way that we're making that happen right now is within Skills2Compete's state-level work in Iowa, whereas everyone knows all the presidential campaigns are stumping in leading up to the Iowa caucuses on January 3rd. So in collaboration with some of our allies in the state, including the Iowa Works campaign, which is a coalition of business, labor, colleges, workforce, and community organizations, the Skills2Compete message is already being brought to some of the presidential candidates and to the local press in Iowa to make sure that the state's reporters and editors are asking the candidates themselves about where they stand on these issues. And in that same vein, another phase of Skills2Compete that will roll out in early 2008 after the conclusion of the Iowa caucuses will be some other state-targeted communications efforts. So as in Iowa, this will bring together a range of stakeholders around the Skills2Compete message and then bring their voices into a variety of arenas. Some of these states will have particular relevance to national debates, whether on Capitol Hill or in the presidential campaign. Others may be prospects for building a popular base of support for a skills guarantee initiative within their state. And in fact, we want to make sure that everybody on this call and all the folks that the campaign is talking to will look at what they could be doing within their own states to get these conversations started. So in the state section of the campaign website, we've included a wealth of resources on state policy models around skills guarantees, as well as ways that state organizations have started to research, deliberate, or advocate on these issues. So that's the Skills2Compete campaign. We're very excited to get it underway. We're very glad that all of you have joined us today in this moment, and we really look forward to working with you to change how America is talking about guaranteeing a new chance for opportunity and innovation for all of our workers and everybody in the United States.
Thanks, Andy, and thanks again to all of the endorsers of the campaign, and particularly to those who joined us on today's call. Thank you to Harry Holzer of Georgetown University, Phyllis Eisen from the National Association of Manufacturers, Tom Buffenbarger from the International Association of Machinists, Keith Bird from the Kentucky Community and Technical College System, and Elsa Bengal from Training Inc. National. Now, this webinar is going to be available on our website in the coming weeks, and we hope that you will share it with your colleagues. And as Andy said, success in changing the debate about creating a skilled workforce will only come from all of us working together to create an echo. And we really look forward to working with all of you to do that.